大家好. Actually, what I just said was no different from what I often say, 大家好, except that it was in a different language, and not Mandarin. It was in Taiyu, or Taiwanese, or which is, you could say also Min. But yeah, so 大家, it's 大家, 大家. Hu is 好, so it sounds more like fourth tone. Hu, 好. We know 好吃 is tasty, so good eat. 好吃. And in Taiwanese that would be 喝家. You might know thank you is 谢谢. Well, if you take off the first 谢, you can also put 多 from 你多大, so how old are you? So 多 is how many. So 多谢 just means lots of thanks, so many thanks. So do you want to try that once? 跟我读多谢, 多谢. So it's quite nice maybe after your next Chinese lesson, instead of saying 谢谢 to your teacher, 谢谢, you could say 多谢, many thanks. 多谢, thank you very much, in Taiwanese is 多谢, 多谢. And sounds actually a bit similar in Cantonese, which is, forgive me if those of you who speak it, my pronunciation might not be perfect at all. It's 多谢, 多谢. And in Shanghainese, for example, it's, 谢谢你, thank you, is 下牙农, 下牙农. So the ni becomes nong. So really, really different. Another word in Cantonese, which is quite similar to Taiwanese and Mandarin, is the word for hao, which is ho, ho. So we got hu in Taiwanese, hao, Mandarin, and ho. But some Taiwanese words just don't sound anything like the Mandarin. For example, 这个东西 in Mandarin is 这个东西 is this thing. For example, what am I doing with a peg? Anyway, 这个东西 in Taiwanese, I'm told, is 黑的美姜, 黑的美姜, yeah. You can probably notice something what I'm doing with my voice there when I go 美姜, 美姜, yeah. It's very nasal. So there are certain points in Taiwanese where you actually need to use that nasal sound. I can actually say something quite random in Cantonese, and it goes like this. 我哋都係去女人街買啲嘢，不如一齊去呀。And in Mandarin that would be 我們都要去女人街買東西，不如一起去啊。Which is completely randomly means we are all going shopping to the Nuren Road, to the woman's road or street. Why don't we go together? So anyway, I got that from a textbook that was for Mandarin learners who wanted to learn Cantonese. So I'd like to speak a little bit about different Chinese accents now, different pronunciations of even just of Mandarin. There can be a lot of variety. So in Beijing and in various regions up north, the Mandarin spoken is quite well known for having an hua yin, which is the R sound in a lot of their words. So in Beijing, instead of saying 我是中国人, they might say 我是中国人. So 是, even the SH sound sounds a bit more like it's got some R in it. So 我是中国人. The verb that you may have learnt already to play computer games would be 玩电脑游戏, whereas in southern China it would be more like 玩电脑游戏. You might notice also that in Beijing the tones are more pronounced, so there's really the tones are more extreme. So first tone might be a bit higher, and third tone a bit lower. Then you might notice those contrasts more than you would in southern regions. 什么东西啊? So 东西, the 东西 might the high note instead of just like 什么东西, so 什么东西啊? Obviously it depends on the person speaking and the situation. But for example, 太有趣了, 太有趣了, really interesting, could be 这个太有趣了, 太有趣了. So there can be that much greater variety in pitch up north, whereas in Taiwan people can be quite almost a bit not monotonous, but the tones are not as uppy and downy, so you have to listen harder to hear them. For example, 我现在不知道我应该怎么办. I don't know what I should do right now. 我现在不知道我应该怎么办. The tones were still there, but far less than if I said 我现在不知道我要怎么办. So I was also speaking a lot louder then. Another really big difference between North and South is consonants. So you've probably learnt now, you've learnt 中文 and 是 to be, okay? Well, both of those words would be pronounced differently in southern China, where they're more likely to sound like 中文 and 是. And instead of 吃 to eat would be 吃. So if I was going to say, 我是中国人, it might be 我是中国人. 我是中国人. Also, the R sound, you might notice, can alter a bit. So instead of being R, in some parts of China or Taiwan, it can become L. So 我是中国人, 人. So do be aware of that. If you ever think, oh, how come that person is speaking in a certain way? It could just be that there's an influence from the regional variety of Mandarin spoken and the accent. Perhaps influence from the accent of the other language that they know. So if they know Taiwanese, then some of the sounds they make when they speak Taiwanese might influence their Mandarin. So don't worry, I'm not saying you have to learn all of these different languages, but it's important to be aware of their existence so that when you're traveling, for example, to Taiwan or Hong Kong or Sichuan province or to Shanghai, you will hear a lot of other languages around you. And it's really nice if you can make the effort to learn even just a couple of phrases like thank you or hello, goodbye or where is such and such a place, because it makes the locals feel really respected and they're probably going to be much friendlier to you. So in Taiwan, we could say pretty much that Mandarin is the standard language because it's used on TV a lot and by certain politicians and in education. But at home, a lot of families will still speak Taiwanese or Minanyu. They will still speak that language. It makes people feel really close. That's why when you do go around and you say something like 多谢,多谢,多谢, like thank you, instead of 多谢, people are like, oh, ain't he nice or she nice? Yeah. Perhaps not quite in that voice. But what I find really fascinating is that, you know, it's really important to work on our tones, to make our tones as good as we can. But strangely, when you travel in China, there are places where all the tonal rules we've learned from Mandarin just don't seem to apply at all. So if you go to Guilin, for example, when I was there, I actually had a haircut in Guilin, and I was asking the hairdresser, how would I say 谢谢 with the local pronunciation? And I was told it would be 谢谢, which actually is like a bit like second tone. Again, with 再见, that can sometimes be 再见, which sounds more like second tone. So although I myself think it's quite important to try and get my tones right, and for you as well to get your tones right, strangely, there is a sort of an argument that that there isn't one perfect, correct way of doing tones, because different regions actually have different tones when speaking Mandarin. So that can make you feel a bit better if you find tones really difficult. But don't give up on them, because they are what make your Mandarin juicy and make it flow like a river of silk. Can silk flow? So because Mandarin is very dominant now in culture, so that's TV, music, film, and also it's very prevalent in business now as well, and education. So a lot of people growing up in Shanghai can speak flawless Mandarin, just like you. They're learning it at school, and they might still speak some Shanghainese with relatives, but there is a risk that Shanghainese is going to die out, or at least be a very, very niche language that only a few people know. So I think that's a shame in a way, because some local cultures can get lost. But at least if you are aware of it, then when you go there you can find out about some of these interesting extra things about the different places that you visit in China. Or if you meet a person from China, why not sort of find out a bit about their language that they speak, in addition to Mandarin, if there is one. It's a fascinating world in terms of all the different linguistic varieties you can encounter when you're traveling in China. So don't be put off by the fact that not everyone might speak amazing Mandarin. It actually makes the world a more colourful, varied and exciting place. 再见. So my Pengyo doesn't seem to be around today. I think he's having a shower. Oh well. See you next time.